relationship is called as one-to-one relationship. One-to-one relationship. One-to-one relationship. So what exactly is one-to-one relationship? Is that an entity is associated with at most one entity. It is, for example, you can say one-to-one relationship like this. You can denote it like this. This is representing an entity A. This is representing an entity B. And this is representing the relationship between them. The relationship is R, like this. Okay, so this relationship is one-to-one. In a one-to-one relationship, an entity in A is associated with at most one entity in B. At most one entity in B. An entity in B and an entity in B is associated with at most one entity in A. Is associated with at most one entity in A. Okay, for example, if you have the following relationship, the relationship is like this. Every department should have a manager, and only one manager manages a department, and only one employee manages a department, right? So managers are also employees. So you can denote it like this. This is representing the first set, which is the employee. This is representing the second set, which is this is representing the relationship, which is here manages, and this is representing the departments. Okay, so we have the employees, which are E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6 and E7. Assume these are the employees. We have the departments like D1, D2, D3, D4 and D5. These are the departments. Okay, now you can see they are saying that every department should have a manager, but only one employee manages a department. And when I'm saying one-to-one relationship, that means an entity in A is associated with at most one entity in B. The specific word is at most. At most means maximum it should be one, but it can be less than one. Okay, so here you can see assuming that employee E1 manages the department D1, employee E2 manages the department D3, employee E3 manages the department D2, employee E5 manages the department D5, and employee E7 manages the department D4. Now you can see here in this case, every department should have a manager. So every department is having one single manager, and only one employee manages a department. That means there are not more than one employees which are managing this particular department. And here these things are representing the relationship, and the relationship is manages. Entities are employee and department. Entities are employee and department, right? So here you can see what is the cardinality of employee. Cardinality of employee is 1. What is the participation of employee? Participation of employee is 0. Cardinality is what is the maximum number of relationship an entity can participate, and participation is what is the minimum number of relationship an entity can participate. If you take the example of E1, E2, E3, E5 and E7, they are participating in maximum one relationship only. If you discuss about the relation which is E4, the entity which is E4 and E6, they are not participating in any relationship. Therefore, the minimum participation is 0 and the maximum cardinality is 1, right? Or you can say minimum cardinality is 0 and maximum cardinality is 1. In the same way, if we discuss about the department, what is the cardinality of department? Cardinality of department is 1, because because every department should have an employee and only one employee manages the department. So at maximum, the department is participating in one relationship. In the same way, what is the participation of department? Participation of department is also 1. Cardinality is also 1, and participation the same way, that is also 1. Now this relation we can also represent this relationship in the min-max form representation, which I have already told you. So let me write it this way. Here we had these two relationships. So number 1, we had an employee, we had managers, and we had department. Now for this employee, the cardinality of employee was 1, the participation of employee was 0. For department, the cardinality of department was 1 and the participation of department was 1. And this manager's relationship, the degree of this relationship is 2. Degree is 2. Okay. Now again I told you that we had three kinds of representation. Number 1 is the cardinality ratio representation. Cardinality ratio representation. Number 2 is the single line double line representation. Single line double line representation. And number 3 is the min max representation. Min max representation. So let me draw for all of them, all three of them. So this is employee, this is department, this is employee, this is department, this is employee, and this is department. Okay, so this is representing employee, department, employee, department, employee, and department, and this is representing the relationship between them. Okay, so first is the cardinality ratio representation. So what is the cardinality of employee? What is the cardinality of employee? Cardinality of employee is 1. And what is the cardinality of department? That is also 1. So you will be writing this here and you will be writing this here. So it is 1, 1. So it is 1:1. Next, the single line double line representation. This deals with the participation. What is the participation of employee? That is 0. And what is the participation of department? That is 1. So because the participation of department is 1, therefore department is having total participation. So you can give double lines here. And because the participation of employee is 0, so employee is not having total participation. And the next one is a min-max representation. That is, what is the minimum cardinality and what is the maximum cardinality. So minimum cardinality of employee is 0 and maximum is 1. Minimum cardinality of department is 1 and maximum is 1. So it is called as the min-max representation. So this is representing the min-max representation. Okay, just give me a second. That's better. Okay. Now let us look at the next type of relationship, that is the many to many relationship.